I want to talk to you about my column for the week, Photo Voter ID, making its way through the House, coming over here to the Senate. It is going to pass. Georgia passed the same kind of bill. Now, this might sound strange to you because nobody acts like this has ever happened before. Georgia passed the same bill back in 2005, made its way through the courts, ruled constitutional. Georgia about the same size as North Carolina, very similar demographics. Same argument you hear being made by the liberal left, voter suppression, Jim Crow laws, poll taxes, makes absolutely no sense at all. In fact, my article that I hope you'll read goes through all of that and talks about how far from suppressing the black vote in Georgia when it passed in 2008, when President Obama was on the election ballot for the first time, actually, as would be expected, black votes went up all over the country, did so in Georgia. But the next 2 years later, in the midterm election, voting by African Americans and everyone, of course, goes down during that time period, but as a percentage, they were substantially up. In fact, much more so than the same off-year election in 2006, 2010, a whole different matter after this kicked in. In fact, black voting since 2006 in Georgia is up a whopping 44%. Get this one. Hispanic voting up 67% in Georgia. White voting, 12% only. So I'm sort of wondering why all those Democrats who typically have much more representation in the Hispanic and in the black community are making such a big deal about voter ID. It appears to have worked pretty well for them in the state of Georgia. And of course, what is it all about? It's making sure that our voting process is not only fair, but actually is being done by people who are legitimate citizens of our state, legitimate citizens of our country, and who are out there voting with the right name and are actually who they say they are. The average person, in fact, doesn't have any trouble with this. A recent Elon poll, as I point out in the article, shows that a whopping 77% of North Carolinians support photo voter ID. In addition to that, over half the Democrats support it. And here's the real kicker. Of the people polled that are eligible voters, 97% of them have an acceptable form of ID. Here's the second thing that you hear opponents to photo voter ID criticize. They say, oh, there's probably 600,000 people that are going to come out of the woodwork to get free IDs that the state's going to be on the hook to supply to them. Same argument was made in Georgia 6 years ago. Over those 6 years, almost 7 now, guess how many people came out of the woodwork to get free ID cards? 26,611. Not many. And that's not a year. That's over the full 6.5, 7 years. So again, these arguments that you hear by the liberal left, that somehow making sure the people we have who show up and say who they are actually who they say who they are. What's so ironic, we passed this bill in the last biennium here in North Carolina. Beverly Perdue, the governor at the time, a liberal Democrat, vetoed it. She had a party at the governor's mansion the same day that she vetoed the bill. Guess what you had to have in order to get in the governor's mansion to party with the governor who actually vetoed the voter ID law that same day? You had to have a photo ID. What's good for the goose is good for the gander. It's my pleasure to represent the good people in New Hanover County in the Senate. Please make sure that you get my articles every week. You can check them out on Facebook. You can check them out at my Twitter account. You can also just sign up for them. Go to the website thomgoolsby.com. Thank you so much. God bless. Keep reading them.